Hello and welcome to the video. Today we are going to be making an Easter-inspired doodle and talking a little bit about the importance of patience when making art. So let's start by talking about the doodle itself. April is coming and so is Easter. I personally celebrate an Orthodox Easter and I really just love the colors and style and aesthetic associated with Easter. It really matches the cottagecore style that was popular a year or two ago, and it also has this delicate sweetness. I also really like the candy available. I'm trying to decrease my sugar intake and not waste as much money on silly bobaging. Instead, I decided to draw the candy I enjoy, like brightly colored peeps and jelly beans, licorice, and candy-coated chocolates. They are all so cute and colorful. I started by making the candy digitally on Ibis Paint. It just started as a random doodle with no real idea. I made peeps first because they are the easiest to understand visually, and I was really happy with how grainy they turned out. Then I started drawing a candy covered in candy beads. I can't think of any particular candy that looks like this. I was just trying to make really colorful, sweet-looking candies. The sprinkles on these candies really felt like a chore to do, but overall I think it was really important to do one at a time and not have to use an outline so that it turned out as cute and as colorful as I was hoping. Shading and highlights for these candies was a little bit weird, and I decided only to make 3 of them because too many of them would just be too annoying to make. I also picked the colors orange, yellow, blue, and pink just because those aren't colors I usually do together, and I still liked it. I thought it was cute. When I think of these candies, I usually think of maybe some licorice or some chocolate or some jelly candy covered in all these like sugary beads. By this point, I was having fun but still uncertain of the overall idea, so I was just drawing slowly and patiently. So the doodles were really enjoyable to me. I added a background to see if maybe it would be a page of just candy, but it felt really busy and plain at the same time. It was hard to see the candy themselves, and they were meshing too much with the little polka dots in the back. I tried rearranging the candy to show them falling or floating around one another, and I liked that more. But I was still super uncertain what I was going to do to complete the piece. So now to the topic of patience. What I've discovered over the last couple of years is that I am an incredibly impatient person, especially when I'm really excited or looking forward to something happening. So, for instance, with doodling and art, I find that when I have an idea that I'm really excited to create or to make, I want to get to that end product so badly that I start to become impatient, and that has a big impact on how the art or the work turns out. And usually it's not in a positive. With art, you just gotta take your time. There's just no way to really rush it without losing qualities that you would have wanted in the art itself. So how you color it, how you line it, the choices you make when designing it, all those things start to go out the window when you try to rush. And it's not really worth it because taking time to make the art is the fun of it. And the end product is just the end part of the journey. It's the process to get there that makes this hobby so nice, so fun, so interesting, and also allows you to grow in your skills and talents. So it's better just to take it step by step and think through things more. Unless you're just sketching in a sketchbook and are trying new things, then yeah, speed through it if you want. Because at that point, you're just testing things out. In this piece, I was definitely impatient. I ended up coming up with this idea that I was going to draw a girl traditionally, and she was going to be catching the candy in her hands and looking at it with hearts in her eyes. And that thought was so exciting to me that I rushed the drawing of the girl and ended up skipping a lot of the steps that I think would have made this better. Some things that I know that I should do more of are things like thumbnailing ideas beforehand, picking colors before I actually make things, especially when it's traditional, because digital you can change colors as you go, but traditionally you can't. Drawing each and every line out gently and slowly instead of rushing through them and making like scratchy, messy lines for the hair. Those type of things would only help me have better end results if I just took the time and slowly did each of the steps. And I think thinking this way about patience while doing art, especially if you're an impatient person, is probably a good practice in mindfulness. Here you can see the traditional piece that I made of the girl, and I even made some eyes off to the side because I was going to have her blinking and opening and closing her eyes. As you can see, I didn't finish her hair, I didn't finish her clothing, I barely shaded anything because I was just so excited to have it done. I was like, I could just shade the face traditionally and do the hair digitally. And I knew there was no way I could make her smaller without her face being completely covered by the candy. So you weren't going to see much of the image because she was going to have to be really big. So I didn't even try to finish the rest of the picture, which is where that impatience came in. Because I didn't plan anything, I was having a really hard time getting the digital, more simple candy to mesh well with this super textured, traditional looking piece. And so I was just struggling to find out why it was so hard to see the images with the candy on top of the girl's face like this. I tried making her face lighter behind the candy. I tried giving the candy an outline. I tried changing the outline of the girl so that it wasn't a dark black color, and nothing was working. And I just couldn't figure out why. I tried changing the color of the girl so that she was lighter, darker, pinker, so many things. And I just couldn't figure out what was making it so hard to see. And then at one point it hits me that she is behind the candy, so she wouldn't be in focus. Either the girl or the candy has to be in focus. And that really helped. Once I made the girl blurry, I felt like it really fixed the problems I was having. Even though I was impatient and some of the coloring is off and some of the lines are a little wonky, I still think that I was able to pull through and pass that impatience and kind of fix the problems that came up. I just think that it would have been a better end result, and probably one that had less stress involved if I had just planned better from the beginning. And if I had just taken my time, maybe actually finished the traditional piece and then tried to import it in digitally and actually thought through each and everything that I needed to do. But even ignoring all that, I was still able to make something that I liked and that I was really happy with. And I had a lot of fun making, and I'm happy with the end result still. I just think that it was a really clear sign that I need to try and implement more mindfulness while making doodles so that I can be more patient. At this point I remembered that I want to try and make her blink, so I brought back in the eyes and made sure that they were the correct color so they could match. cleaned that around the eyes and just made it so that she would have open eyes, half open, and then closed, and it was pretty easy. So here's the final animation. I've never actually done things like this before, and so I'm very happy with the way it turned out, and it was a fun and new experiment for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. To the right is the finished product, and to the left is a piece of art I'm proud of. See you next time. Bye!